Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the brand new Player's Handbook, talking about the classes found within. A lot of people like to make their characters thematic, choosing a species that really sells their background, which they also choose, and really telling a fun story of how their character came to be in their adventuring party or at this place in their life. And that's fine. That's a great way to play D&D, but while you are playing it, the thing that defines you the most in your character and how they work through the campaign, they level up and they show their power in and out of combat, we are talking about their class. The class defines what you can do, your powers, your spells, your armor and weapons. The way that you handle problems is defined more by your class than anything else in the game. And then you've got the fighter. A lot of people have defined the fighter as the simple class of D&D, the most basic, the most user-friendly. No matter what you're doing as a fighter, you're going to have a good time because fighters are just good. Not exciting, not fun, just good. I don't know whether that's true or not. There's a lot of subclasses of the fighter that really sell on me, but we're talking about the base fighter class. Has 2024 done anything to alleviate that, to make them more interesting than just run up and hit stuff a bunch of times? Do they even still do that? We'll get into the details of how the fighter works in just a moment. Before we do, though, I'd like to let you know, Relax Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know that you're a supporter, but also you get early access to my videos. I upload videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I upload them a day early for members only. If that interests you, you can click the join button. It's just down there next to the subscribe button. I'd love to see you in the comments with your member badges. And if it doesn't interest you, that's totally fine too. Just watching the video at all, liking, subscribing, helping me boost the algorithm and get more people into the community, that's a great way. And I'm very, very thankful that you're supporting me here. So thank you for watching my content here on YouTube. Let's talk fighters. Let's start at level 1, as we always do. Fighters are one of the lucky ones to get the D10 hit die, the second highest hit die in the game behind the Barbarian. This makes them tanky, tough, and able to handle a lot of punishment. The D10 means that a fighter with a 16 constitution will start at level 1 with 13 hit points, and will get an average of 9 more every level beyond that. They are pretty tough. I give this 9 out of 10. They also get proficiency in strength and constitution saving throws. This is fantastic. Strength is a little more niche. It requires, there's not very many things that call for that. But constitution is great. You see it a lot in the game. Loads of effects require con saves. I give them 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10, respectively. As far as their skills go, they've actually got quite a big list to choose from. 9 options, which vary from, intimidation and insight to athletics and acrobatics to survival. There's a lot of things that they can choose from here from many different lists of abilities. They only get 2 of them, though, so that's unfortunate. But still, I think it's worthy of an 8 out of 10. They've got a lot to pick from. Of course, they get proficiency in all weapons, and proficiency in all types of armor. This is the whole deal of the fighter, is that you can do anything you want. You can lean into your dex, grab a bow or crossbow, and put on some light or medium armor. You can put on plate armor, grab a shield, and just be a massive bulwark at the front. Or you can grab a 2-handed weapon, throw some chainmail on, and just be a heavy hitter. The options are limitless with the fighter, as you can mix and match armor and weapons as you see fit, and I give 10 out of 10 to both of these, because it doesn't get any better than that. Now, you do get a fighting style at level 1 as well. Fighting styles just make you a little bit better at whatever type of combat you want to be. Archery is a popular one, giving you a +2 to your ranged attacks. Great Weapon Master has been, Great Weapon Fighting has been downsized a bit, now letting you re-roll ones and twos and making them threes instead of re-rolling them. My bad. But of course, you've got blind fighting, giving you blind sight. That's a powerful one. Thrown weapon fighting, two weapon fighting. There's a lot of different options in here. And no matter what your style, even defensive fighting or protector fighting is all here. And the fighting styles add a good amount to whatever you're trying to do in most cases. I give it 9 out of 10. You also get the power Second Wind, and this has actually had quite a bit of a buff. Now you get 2 second winds plus 1 back on a short rest per day. So it's 2 short rests for a third, and then all recharge on a long rest. And it's a bonus action that you can use to give yourself 1d10 plus your fighter level in hit points back. It's a self heal. A powerful feature to be sure. You can use it a few times per day. It's nice. It just makes you more tanky and more tough, and it's worthy of a 9 out of 10 for sure. The last thing you get here is weapon masteries. You're one of the classes that get that, and you actually get 3 instead of the 2 that most other people get because you're a fighter. Of course you do. Pick your favorite weapons, pick your favorite weapon masteries, whether you are cleaving and grazing, whether you're using nick and vex, whether you're using push and topple. There's a lot of options here that just make your fighter more utility based and give you extra power on the battlefield without having to invest in anything other than what weapon am I going to use. It gives meaningful choice to whether you take a warhammer, battle axe, or longsword into combat. Whatever you want is there for you to try, and weapon mastery is certainly worthy of a 10 out of 10. Now let's move on to Fighter 2. At level 2, fighters get their epic of all features, Action Surge. Once per short rest, you can use Action Surge to give yourself a second action on your turn. So yeah, you get to attack twice, you get to dash and attack. There's a lot of powers that you get from Action Surge, but it has been nerfed technically because now you cannot use it to use the magic action. This means that 2-level dip into fighter whenever you wanted to be a Nova caster and cast 2 spells with your action, it ain't gonna work because you cannot action surge and cast a spell. Or use a magic item that takes the magic action. It doesn't work that way. Of course, they've adjusted this where you can only use 1 spell slot a turn anyway, regardless of action economy. So they covered it in 2 different ways. Action surge, for the fighter, it hasn't changed. Like, it's the same power it's always been, because fighters didn't care about action surge casting unless they were an Eldritch Knight, but even then, the point is that it's still as good as it's ever been for most characters, and I'm giving it 10 out of 10 because it deserves it. But then you also get another feature here, Tactical Mind, another way to use your second wind. You can, if you fail a skill check, you can instead use your second wind to roll the d10 and add it to said skill check. That's awesome. This means that fighters who maybe have taken the skilled feat, who have quite a few proficiencies, can actually lean into a skill-based build more than a damage-dealing build. It means that they are going to succeed on skill checks far more often, and what's even better is that if you use second wind to boost the skill, and you still don't succeed on the check, you don't utilize the second wind. It's not used up. So you're only going to use it, you can use it all the time, because you're not worried about wasting it. Of course, you want to save 1 for combat, potentially, but you still get a few second wins a day, and this is just some key moments when you can buff your skills, and a D10 is a nice buff. It stacks with things like Guidance and Bardic Inspiration, so all in all, I'm giving this 9 out of 10. It's a very solid boost for the fighter. Now we're going to skip over level 3 and 4. We're not talking about subclasses, we're not talking about feats today. Although, I will say that it is worth mentioning that fighters do get extra feats as the game goes on. They get 7 feats as opposed to the 5 that people typically get. But I'm not including that in my fighter rankings. It just means that they're going to get their stats and feats more than everyone else. And that's good. Like, please don't get me wrong. That's a very, very powerful feature. But I'm not including it in today's analysis. Instead, we'll go straight to level 5 when fighters get the ever-popular extra attack. Now, when you take the attack action, you attack twice instead of once. Any bonus action attacks are unaffected by this, so if you are building around, like, the Nick property, or if you're building around crossbow expert, does that still give you a bonus action shot? I don't remember. The point is if you have a way to weaponize your bonus action, this just means that you're adding an extra attack to your action, not your bonus action. So, good. It's powerful, it scales the fighter nicely at level 5, it makes them much stronger. I give it 9 out of 10. But then they get another thing at level 5. Tactical Shift, another thing they can use with their second wind. It's not technically another use. It says that when you use second wind, so when you use it to heal yourself, you can move half your movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Nice. That's really nice, actually. Even with a 30-foot movement speed, that's 15 feet that you get to shift yourself around on the battlefield. You're not worrying about getting stabbed in the back. And if you're using second wind, it's likely that you are struggling a little bit in the fight because you're low on health. It's nice to reposition yourself if necessary, getting yourself into a better spot so you can do more damage or avoid damage. I think this is solid. I think it's 9 out of 10 again. Then comes level 9 and the brand new Indomitable feature. You might be saying, what are you talking about? Indomitable's always been a feature and it's not that good. You're right, it wasn't good. It is now. Now, it says that once per day, if you fail a saving throw, you can re-roll the saving throw, so that's cool, and add your fighter level as a bonus to the saving throw. Now let me reiterate that. You add your level, not half your level, not a d10, your whole level to a saving throw. Your level is 9 currently. This means that when you roll a d20 to do a save, let's say it's a DC 15 wisdom save, and you aren't proficient and your wisdom is 10. You roll yourself an 8. You've just failed that save by quite a bit. And, wisdom saves suck because they can really hurt. So let's use Indomitable. Now we're going to re-roll. We're going to re-roll, and hey look, we rolled a 10 instead of an 8. That's not going to help, except we're adding 9 to that. So now we've actually re-rolled a 19, which well succeeds the save. This is effectively a point of legendary resistance. It's not an automatic save, because you can still fail if you abysmally fail the second roll. But you're adding so much. Adding a 9, and it keeps going. That's the other thing. Level 10 is the next level you're going to be at. Adding a plus 10 to a save is basically an automatic success. It's so rare that it won't be. It means that Indomitable isn't useless. It doesn't matter what save you have failed. Intelligence, wisdom, charisma, or the physical stats. It doesn't matter. You're going to succeed it this time. Probably. Most likely. And at level 13 and 17, you get more uses of this, meaning that a level 17 fighter has 3 uses of Indomitable, all of which are automatic saves because they're adding 17 to the save. You could roll a 1 and you've just rolled an 18 on a saving throw, no matter what it is. This is bonkers strong. This is effectively giving the fighter legendary resistance. I've never seen a power that is so tilted. It means that those mental stats that the fighters are scared of, the controlling effects, the paralyzing effects, the effects that really shut them down, suddenly aren't scary anymore, at least a few times per day. This is 10 out of 10, and it deserves so much better than that. It is one of the best features that the fighters get. And we're still not done, because at level 9 you also get Tactical Master. This says that if you're using any weapon that you know the weapon mastery for, so let's just say that you've got yourself daggers and you're one of those dual-wielding Nick-based fighters. You're using your Nick attack, your bonus action attack, you're attacking, several times a turn. Well, now you can give up your Nick property and instead use Push, Sap, or Slow. And it says you can use these on any mastered weapon. This includes ranged weapons, reach weapons, light weapons, heavy two-handed weapons. You can swap out Cleave or Graze for Push, Sap, or Slow. You can do this whenever you want. So you always have these weapon masteries available to you. Push is one of my favorite weapon masteries. It pushes around without a saving throw. Sap, of course, is great for defensive base fighting, and Slow is good for tactical maneuvering, especially if you're about to use Second Wind. You can kite an enemy with this, and it doesn't matter what weapon you're using. And because it gives you the option, this means you can, with your extra attacks, use one weapon mastery with one hit, and then switch to one of these three with your other hits, allowing you to do combos. This is phenomenally strong, especially for the tactically minded fighter. I can definitely see some combos in my head already with push and topple, with vex and sap, with, push and slow. I mean, you can technically go push and slow regardless of the weapon. This is all good stuff, and I give this 10 out of 10. Level 11 rolls around, and now the fighters are standing ahead of the rest with their 2 extra attacks. Now when you take the attack action, you attack 3 times. The action surging fighter gets to make 6 attacks before they've even used their bonus action. And I think that is solid, and yeah, 10 out of 10, no question. Level 13, you get one more nice little tactical feature here. It's called studied attacks. When you attack a creature, if you miss against that creature, the next attack you make against them before the end of your next turn has advantage automatically. That's cool, right? The idea that you're in combat, you've got 3 attacks, you swing and miss because the enemy's got a high AC or you just get unlucky. Now you immediately, on your second attack, have advantage. Cool, you land that attack. Time for your third attack, no advantage, swing and miss again. Now you've got advantage on the first attack you make on the next turn. Unless you have a bonus action attack, you get advantage on that. Basically, if you're going to miss someone, you're probably going to hit them the next time because you know how to study their movements. It's thematic, it's mechanically very strong. It's certainly not one of those things you're going to see all the time because fighters aren't often missing their attacks. But when they do, and because they have so many, they're going to miss some, it just buffs up the next one. I think this is powerful and worthy of a 9 out of 10. Then finally, we're going to go all the way to the end, level 20. By this point, you've got 2 action surges, you've got 3 indomitables. What's the capstone going to be? Why, 1 more attack, of course. Now you've got 3 attacks every time you take the attack action, 3 extras, so you are attacking 4 times. This means that a character who is a level 20 fighter, who has built around bonus action attacks, maybe even the Nick attack property, and they action surge, now all of a sudden they can make, 11 attacks in a single turn? The flurry is wild. And even if they're not building on the Nick property and bonus action attacks, and they don't action surge, it's still 4 attacks a turn. 4 attacks is a lot of attacks. I mean, spellcasters have been scaling their cantrips up, with a D8 or a D10 or a D12 or whatever. And then they just get an extra die every so many levels, so now they're attacking for 4D8 or 4D10 or 4D12. Well, now the fighter is 2, except they're adding their ability modifier to it with every attack. And they probably have some magic weapons with extra powers. They get to use their tactical master feature now with every single attack, meaning that they've got so many weapon masteries to pick from. A level 20 fighter is knocking enemies around, tripping them, sapping them, vexing them, nicking them. There's so many things that you can do, and you've got so many attacks to do it with. It's juicy, and I love it. I love this. Weapon masteries really power this up. And of course, I'm going to give the capstone 10 out of 10. Because 4 attacks per attack action, nobody gets that. Nobody in the game gets that other than fighters. It is well worth it to make it all the way to level 20. So, the fighter. Are they still basic? No. I don't think they ever were. But now the base fighter isn't either. You don't have to worry about what your subclass is. Play the champion. Who cares? You've got so many options here. Second Wind is granting you skill boosts, giving you extra movement. Your Indomitable is making your saving throws significantly better. Your tactical master is letting you mix and match with any weapon you like. Your weapon masteries alone are giving you so much power and versatility. And then as you continue down, you just get more and more reliable and effective, and you are it's so much fun to play a high level fighter. I've done it for one shots before, and I've seen just how reliable and just how creative you can get. I give the fighter a high praise 9 out of 10. They're not perfect. Of course, they're not perfect. They do not have, the best mental saves, so their Indomitable will run out eventually. Second Wind only has limited uses. Action Surge is great, but you can only use it a couple times. Your extra attacks are fun, but you're still going to miss sometimes because the die gods give and the die gods taketh away. By level 13, that doesn't matter as much. So the fighter isn't perfect. So they're not meant to be perfect. But as far as characters in D&D go, they are one of the most reliable, and now, with weapon masteries, one of the most creative characters in D&D. I love fighters. I've always loved fighters, and now they're better than ever. I cannot recommend highly enough. Study your weapon masteries, study the weapon table, play a fighter, and just watch how the battlefield will shift at your command, and the casters are going to go, what the heck, man? I thought that was my job. No, it's the fighter's job now. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more class reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.